they want to say, look how good everything is. Sometimes they're bad calls, and you have to go and work with them. So my apologies for running late, but they're out of your control, and they need to be dealt with urgently. So everyone, for those who don't know me, my name is Ned. I'm the mayor. Thank you all very much for being here today as part of our series of community meetings that we're doing. We've done a series of them, and Liverpool's a very big place, and there are issues that happen in your area that are different than happen in other areas, and some people really are very interested in their particular area. So that's why we thought we'll come out here, very informal, literally just having a chat, having a discussion. It's about us listening to you versus us talking at you and speaking at you. We really want to hear your views. So we've come here, we've got a couple of the councillors with me, which I'll pass on to introduce themselves, and we have some of the council staff. And we'll just sit there and have a conversation, and we want to hear what are the issues that we need to be dealing with that you want fixed, and we'll share with you a bit of the stuff that we're doing as we go along. But like I said, very informal. Housekeeping, the meeting is being live streamed. Hello, everybody online. So that's why we have the microphones. So please, if you can just wait for the microphone to come along. Michael there, if you want to say Michael at the back there, you can't miss him. He'll out there hand around the microphone so everyone can hear it. And just as we go into discussion, we probably like to keep it in similar topics. So if we're talking about rubbish or cleanliness, then we just talk about that. There we go. We'll stay on those issues, and then we'll kind of move along there just so we can kind of rather than go back around there. But that's really pretty much it. So what I might do is I might just pass the microphone around just to the councillors and the staff just to be able to introduce themselves and say hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the coolness of the Hilda Davis Centre. It's much nicer in here than it is outside today. I'm Fiona McNaught. I'm the Deputy Mayor and really happy to be here with you tonight. So thanks for coming.
She does a real round of applause.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Charisma Calianda. And tonight you kind of get a two birds, one stone situation. So I'm also a councillor, but I'm also the local member of parliament for Liverpool. So if there's anything that comes up, which is, which I can assist with on that end, happy to take that away as well.
And I'll pass on. I don't know who wants to go. We have just to show you our dedication, we'll listen to some of our council staff who are here. We have the lovely team from customer service, so any specific issues, they'll come in, they'll take it from you. Pass on.
Thank you. My name is Nazan, and I'm the Executive Assistant for the Mayor, so happy to take on any inquiries if you wanted to come my way as well today.
Hi, I'm Michelle McElveny. I'm a Director of Customer Experience and Business Performance at the Council. So I'm here really interested in what you've got to say and your experiences around Liverpool.
Hi, I'm Terry Bellel. I'm the Manager of Civil Operations. I look after civil maintenance, the roads, potholes. So any complaints, I'm here to look after it.
Keith Cowley, I look after the open space construction. So anything to do with your parks and delivering some of the capital works.
Hi everyone, my name is Benny Wong. I'm in charge of the building construction capital works. So any council buildings such as this one, this is what my area does.
Hello everybody, my name is Mahavir Arya. I'm a transport engineer. If there's any traffic issues there, I'm here to answer for it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Neeraj Kumar is my name. I predominantly sit in the building group with Benny and help with building projects. And also, sorry, I'll start again. My name is Neeraj Kumar. I'm infrastructure delivery, predominant role assisting Benny in buildings and things like that. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, everyone. And yeah, so that's it. So we thank the senior staff. Oh, here we go. Perfect time to introduce yourself, Councillor.
Good afternoon. Councillor Moon, sorry for being late. It's just been one of those days. Been on council for 18 months, working hard with the community and trying to listen to you guys to understand what you guys need. And we'll work with you. Thank you.
We're up to 2 years now, actually, in a couple of weeks. And sorry, Richard's been unwell for the last all the weekend. So thank you, Richard, for coming on. Good to see you back. So, ladies and gentlemen, I guess the floor is open. Once again, thank you. I'm happy to talk about any particular issues. Whoever wants to go first, please put your hand up and grab the microphone. I could talk all day, but I don't want to, and I'm sure you don't want to hear that as well.
I'm Anne Mayberry. I'm the granddaughter of Alderman Gus Mayberry, who was on the council many years ago, and he was deputy mayor as well. However, Ned, I'd like to commend you and the council on the lovely trees that have been planted on our footpaths here in Liverpool. They're really, really great and it will enhance our community, no doubt. But two issues I have, and one is the vacant block of land which faces onto Orange Grove Road, which I've put into my report over there. The grass is 6 feet high and the weeds come right up to the back fence, which backs onto our property, and we're forever spraying it with chemicals to try and kill it off because it comes into our garden. It used to get mown on a regular basis, but nothing's been done for a couple of years, and it's, you know, the snakes and the rats come into our property and it's an absolute eyesore. And the second thing is I'd love something to be done about the hoons that race up and down Orange Grove Road and into the shopping centre over there. Usually Friday, Saturday and Sunday nights are bad, but it's during the week we're getting it all the time, and they're just sitting there revving their engines, and I'd love to see a speed camera on Orange Grove Road. I think that might slow them down a bit. But I did write and I spoke to Nathan Hegarty when he was on council about the vacant land, and we had a few conversations and he did something about it, but that's long ago. And I've also rung the police so many times about the hoons on Orange Grove Road that I think they're sick of me. Thanks for that.
Thank you for that, and for that little bit of history. Great. Can I just go backwards? So when you ring the police, do you ring the station or do you ring the police assistance line?
Liverpool Police Station.
Yep.
And then they put me on to the 1-300 emergency.
Yeah. Yep. So what the police have told us is they don't want anybody ringing the station because it doesn't really do anything. I mean that respectfully. Not do anything, but it's not as effective as ringing the police assistant line, which is the 1-300 number. Emergencies, ring 000. But if it's not an emergency, so something like that, speeding, if you ring that number, what happens is that's it's a database for all of New South Wales, and if everything goes into it, the police then get statistics. So, for example, if you had a whole bunch of people calling up about speeding on Orange Grove Road, then what happens is that gets flagged when they have their weekly meetings. Say, okay, well, here's an issue. Great, how do we deal with it? It's probably something we should be doing, like customer service, like we discussed this morning, really, huh? Yeah, but yeah, so ultimately that's the best way to do it, because the more that it gets brought up with them, then it gives them they then get funded and get the resources from Highway Patrol to go and deal with that. So anyone who has a policing issue, please ring that number. That's what they've asked us to tell everybody. And I think the issue of a speed camera is a good idea. There's plenty of speed cameras around Liverpool, but there's nothing on Orange Grove Road, is there? Yeah. And I think the speeding cars, I remember I'm not going to say when I was a hoon, but 20 years ago, the cars always used to have get-togethers they still do. It's funny, huh? Something's never changed, huh? Krispy Kremes now. But I think that's a good idea with regards to the speed camera. And I bring that up, I don't know why people go there and gather there and why they still do and why they did back in the days.
Well, there's a fitness gym there. That's a great attraction.
Krispy Kreme and McDonald's. They've got it all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some motor shows sometimes at that place as well.
See, what tends to happen is they've got motor shows there, so they've got gatherings for bikes, vehicles that are antiques and stuff like that, and it entices people to speed and do silly things sometimes. So maybe a bit of awareness on that road would be great.
On my end, I'm happy to write to Highway Patrol and see if there's a viability, or what they're interested in putting a speed camera on that stretch of Orange Grove Road is. The sort of downside of that is just as many people want a speed camera, you'll have an equal number of people who will be up in arms against it. So it'll involve a process of community consultation as well. But happy to take that on board.
The shopping centre is going to be upgraded very soon. So they're planning, I've got to see exactly, because I had two different plans. One was about expanding the fashion outlet out to the rear. So I think, I was actually supposed to see those plans, but I think that's all been approved. Excuse my haziness on it. But then on the other side, they were talking about many years ago about putting a Kmart and everything in the car. So I don't know where we are with that. Come on through. There you go. You can introduce yourself, Councillor.
Councillor Caress Road. Sorry I'm late. I had to go to another meeting. Thank you.
Anything about animals? We'll get it to Councillor Rhodes here. So I just wonder, yeah, I don't know if that's going to help the Sinish situation, but I think we need to talk to them. I think they've done some discussions on that. With regards, which block of land are you referring to with the grass?
Used to be Orange Grove Golf Course.
Yes, so yeah. So that's on. So the houses were backing, was it Medley Avenue that's behind?
Yes,
Yep, okay.
it's a lovely golf course.
I used to live on Medley Avenue, so I know, yeah. So, yeah, it's now been closed for a while. That's a good 20 odd years. Yes, I don't know what, I think what I heard recently is one of the owners of that land, I think the company had closed. I think it was, so yeah. But I think we'll try to find out what's going on with that. Yeah. Sorry, so can we just give you the microphone if you don't mind?
Sorry, pardon me, whilst the topic's hot. I got an eastern brown snake there last year. So there's, oh, that's hardly reassuring. Anyway, but yeah, I've heard of a few people's dogs getting taken there, and I mow the backyard with my neighbour down there. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I'm a blow-in.
Just saying that, sorry, we were just saying that we'd like to keep it on similar topics, so it's perfect. It's great, so thank you. So ultimately, it's about getting that Orange Grove golf course, making sure the owners mow the grass. Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough. We can make sure we get in contact with them. Great.
Can I just remind everyone, and I'm sure Anne-Marie's done a fabulous job already, but with everything that you're bringing up, if you don't mind making sure that it's just scribbled down very quickly on a piece of paper or use the QR code so that we've got a good record of what we've said and what we need to follow up on. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to? Yes. I'll leave it to you, Michael.
Hi, everyone. My issue, I live in Kasseray Street. My name is Wafa Hafid. Yeah. The corner between Campbell Street and Kasseray Street, there is no sign. All the cars park near to corner, exactly in the corner. When we want to go through from Kasseray to turn on Campbell Street 2 ways. I hope so there is some sign to let them don't park near to the corner, exactly. Always that way is busy. It's difficult for us. How can we turn? Yeah, it's difficult.
Difficult because the cars are parked too close to the corner?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Mahavir, I might pass over to Mahavir, who's our traffic expert.
Make the changes on that intersection, and hopefully that is sometime next year. In the next financial year, we'll do some changes there at that intersection of Campbell Street and Kasseray Street.
So yeah, we'll oh, great. We'll get those exact details and we'll look into it. Remember, what's the rule again? Is it 6 meters or 10 meters from the corner? 10 meters from the corner. Yep. So we'd have to put maybe some no stopping signs and Can we just do that, or do we need to go to the traffic committee for that? Yeah, all right. So realistically, when's the next traffic committee?
Like end of January.
Yep.
So, but we can try to get that approval from the transport and police earlier than that.
Okay. Yep,
Yes, we
great.
can get it done.
Yeah. So just anything on the roads, it's a process. We just can't do it. We need to speak to transport. We need to speak to police, get them all to approve it. So, but yeah, we can easily get some signs up there, subject to their approval. But thank you for bringing that up. Yes, ma'am. Mike, I'll leave it to Michael to pass on the mic. Is that, sorry, do you mind if I just, to her, please, she just had a hand up before. Thank you.
Thank you, Dalip. Thanks. My name is Cristina Diaz. I'm a resident of Burke Street in Liverpool.
Which street, sorry?
Burke.
Burke Street.
Little Burke Street. Right? And I'm sure there are probably another one of those that I can they hear my name or I have sent emails about rubbish and all that, and really nothing really ever happens anyway. And it's the corner, the building is on the corner of Hume Highway and Little Burke, which is a very small street, right? Yeah. And it's actually, whenever I see the people clean, the street cleaners, I've asked whether don't they need to clean that street. And apparently they only do it till Castlereagh. So our little street is always a rubbish tip. Yeah. And there's such a block of land, empty, vacant block of land across the building, which is on Hume Highway. Hume and Burke. Which is,
up my map, that's all right. So the street's not being cleaned?
No.
And you said when you're reporting it, no one is doing anything about it?
I had actually a number a few times for the report that I have done, but it never really ever happened anyway.
So did you actually get those? So, Christine, did you actually get the report number from council?
I did have a while ago. I think this could be a year ago anyway already, so yeah. Because I had called many times. Yeah. And I do understand it's us, the residents, that have to kind of also take care of it, right? Yeah, but I don't think it does get cleaned. Yeah. Burke, it's the vacant block across my building.
And also in Burke Street,
yeah,
is.
And also the corner, in other words, the church used to be on Castlereagh to the end of Castlereagh, almost to the end of Castlereagh. There's that church, which is vacant now. It's amazing. The rubbish is just unbelievable.
At the end of Castlereagh.
Almost to the end, across the high buildings.
And was that rubbish like a mattress?
Everything. Everything. People just go and dump. Yeah.
All right, we'll send that through for them, and I'll check it out tonight on the way home and just see if there's anything there.
Would you like me to do something?
We obviously always prefer that people don't dump their rubbish on the streets, right? All we can ask is when you do, to please notify us as soon as you can. And because we're not always around Liverpool, and you might see a council truck, but they're going to cut the grass. They don't stop. If they've got to stop, pick up the rubbish all the time, they never will pick up the rubbish. So I think, yeah. Well, they should respond fairly soon. So council, just so you know, we recently bought a new machine that shreds the mattresses. So now we actually want mattresses because we shred them. We take out the steel and the metal and recycle that, and all the fluffy stuff, we make that into pavers and tiles and things like that. So if anyone looks on my Facebook, you can see there was a video on it. So it's very, very exciting. I think we have enough mattresses on Speed Street alone just to keep the machine running all the time. There's always a mattress there. Yeah, no worries, sir. I'll just go to that lady at the back and over to you, sir. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Hi.
Okay.
My name is Ismet Korjanik. Same complaint about Burke Street. Same. But I would like to say something more positive about Liverpool. I came here, my family actually came here 30 years ago, as refugees with solid knowledge and everything. And in Liverpool, we achieved everything why we got in Europe. Education, my daughter now finished uni, master degree, she's PhD candidate. I was in charge of research development to big company, wife work, etc. So that's big achievement thanks to Liverpool. Social, healthcare, drug, everything. So Liverpool is growing from day to day. You can recognize that in a couple of years. So we should see this story from another positive side. I know Ned was before, he had an achievement now, everything going in the same way, positive way as well. So from my point of view, we should be proud of this city. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. That means a lot to us. And it's so important that pride in a city makes such a difference, because if you have pride in your front yard, you make it look good, then your neighbor will have pride, and then if we have pride, then the area looks better. Versus chucking stuff, right? We have a recycling center on Rose Street. I don't know if everyone knows, but if you go to Rose Street, you can take your rubbish. The staff will come and take it from your car. You don't even have to hop out of the vehicle. They'll recycle it for you. So there's no reason to go out there and dump. But thank you. But it gets down to pride. So we appreciate that. It's good. I should let everyone know that this year we're doing an extra, for those of you who have the yellow bins, there'll be an extra yellow bin pickup during Christmas. So for all the extra cardboard, everyone's always wanted that, so we've got that going this year. But thank you for your kind words. Sorry. 1 second. Yep.
Hi, my name's Isabella. I'm one of the residents and I've lived here in Liverpool all my life, and I just wanted to raise some concerns that some of the other people today have also raised. I live on Atkinson Street and we have a major problem with parking issues, parking enforcement, illegal dumped rubbish, people parking in intersections, abandoned vehicles. I work in local government myself, so I've got a sound knowledge of the legislation that I enforce, and I do get a bit frustrated with Liverpool's enforcement, the lack of it, the lack of communication. I'm not too certain what the customer service charter is here, but I don't receive phone calls when I do lodge a complaint. I've been told, that they don't know the legislation, and I've been more than happy on numerous occasions to provide evidence for certain matters, but never had a follow-up. And it's just disappointing because I do take pride being a Liverpool resident, having lived here, having gone to high school here, and I just want to know what we can do as a community to fix that. Well, as a resident, what I can do to do more efficient reports, what the process is with that.
Thank you, Isabella, and we spent an hour and a half on that today, of when someone makes a call about getting a phone call back. So one thing that council did, as you know, so if we could talk local government stuff, council sets the policies, procedures, hires a CEO, and establishes an organizational structure. So for everyone who knows, all these people at council, they don't work for me. They work for the CEO. We as a council, we appoint the CEO, and then he hires everyone else, so he or she. And so in December last year, we hired a new CEO, and he's got a new team of directors, and we have a new organizational structure. One of the things that we have done is we've created a new position called Director of Customer Service, or Customer Experience and Business Performance, right? So, and that's Michelle, who's here with us today. And the reason we've done that is to deal with this issue, because sometimes council gets confused on what it does. Well, we should be a customer service organization. We should be excelling at it. When you make a phone call, you should be contacted every step along the way and have the issue dealt. In a perfect world, we resource things enough that you never even have to call us. That's eventually will work towards, because everything is just going smooth. So I will pass on to Michelle, because she has been working on this. I will say that she's dealing with legacy issues. So she started in June this year. The new executive team will pretty much all appointed, because we have all new directors as of pretty much around June this year. Every director, there's 6 of them, and they are either born locally, live locally, or have in the past, or have a very good local connection. So they all have skin in the game. They all care about this area. But I might just pass on to Michelle to answer your question specifically, considering she is here.
Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate that. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, is to hear that. So we are currently working through our customer experience principles and what that looks like across the organisation. I was just talking to the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor earlier this afternoon about a customer experience program where we're looking to uplift everyone in the organisation's response to our customers. So whilst we can take a phone call in the customer service centre and register that, and then that gets deployed to the enforcement area in your example, just lifting up people's response rates to that is one of the highest focuses for me at the moment. We previously not reported that information at an executive level, and now we do. So on a regular basis, fortnightly, if not monthly, we report all outstanding requests. Just today, I sent out another email to all our directors around outstanding requests, reminding people how we're required to respond to the customers. So it's in hand. It's going to take us a couple of months, but there's a dedicated program to lift capability as well as lift awareness across the organisation.
Just on a second note on that, what is the enforcement looking like? Because I've had not, I would say, the best experience with the enforcement here, and I'm not really aware what it is that council officers here enforce. When I've had to deal with dumped rubbish, I've been told there's a dumped rubbish officer, but I've never communicated with them. When I've been told matters about illegal tree fellings, I've been told there's an environmental officer. I was put in touch with someone who couldn't take enforcement action. So I just don't know who I'm meant to be directing these things to get the appropriate action taken.
Ideally, once you call customer service, then they should be dealing with it and giving it to the appropriate officer and appropriate team to do with it. I forget what were the numbers. What the numbers for enforcement calls are very large, and there's a big backlog. I'm scared to say it's not 3,000, was it? I remember that. No, it wasn't that. That was a different number. So there's a lot of them, and then the enforcement policy, which is it on exhibition or going on exhibition? Not yet. We had a briefing on it. So we got the exhibition policy going out there now, and ultimately there's always discretion. So that's one element, and discretion probably hasn't been applied all the time. So for example, people are buying a house, there's been a carport there for 40 years, and then all of a sudden council's knocking on the door saying, prove to me that this is allowed, this was, you have consent for this. And people are like, oh, I just bought this has been here forever. So versus focusing on what are the high order stuff, what are the dangerous issues, what are the high risk issues, and I think that's always the challenge. They're always going to respond to something that is more high risk and more dangerous. We have put in place, I think it was this year, some after hour crews to be working on after hours enforcement, because things are happening later on. So we do have that. I don't know, Terry used to be the manager of, he was in that area. Do you want to care to comment? I know he's in civil now, but do you want to say more about enforcement and illegal waste?
Whenever you lodge a complaint about illegal waste, does it get collected from what you see?
Last time I had to lodge an illegal waste matter, and I tried calling through to council. It was after hours. I was told this is not something we can deal with, so I ended up lodging it through the RID squad online to get it actioned. I've got the photos of it today with me if you want to have a look at what it was. But as you're aware of Atkinson Street, it's become a bit of a dumping ground because of the development. Obviously, that's still going through and ahead, and people are taking advantage that there's fencing there. They're dumping things all the time. I don't believe that there's a clear enough signage that, illegal dumping. We've got people that are continuously doing it. One of them, they go far into the reserve of the Light Horse Park, so I don't know if people are going out that far, and when I have communicated with them where it is, it's hard to explain, oh, it's near the Jacaranda. Unless you're really familiar with the park, you're not really going to know.
I know the street well. I'll exchange details with you, and I'll take the matters further and get back to you. Okay? Thanks for bringing that up.
Mike, you got this lady, you got that lady. Yeah, is there, if we can stay maybe if on waste if we can, and waste and dumping? Could you, sorry ma'am,
Someone here?
My name is Lily. I'm coming to Australia 33 years ago, and in the 33 years I lived in Liverpool area, raised two successful children. Now they're adults. Thanks for Liverpool, give me the life back again. And I worked in Liverpool Hospital for 19 years past, and I advocate and educate the people live with mental illness. For this society, I would like to raise the issues. Now it's my age is over 60. And I saw the program, Stepping On program. It's for the gentleman and the woman prevented for, but it's over 65 years. Is this program running successfully, if including the age to the 60 years old, will be give a lot of people the abilities to live in their longevity? And I just, for this point, I just wonder, with this just walking towards here on the left side, there's a big block the land over there been vacant for so many years. One stage is like the building or something or things like that. My perspective is to ask the question, what's the city council, what's the mayor make the decision, what's the building will be built in this block land. And I have grandchildren, and I would appreciate, I have previously writing so many suggestions to build the social connection club, build a community convention centers or things like that. What's the mayor's or what's the city council will in mind for that build the vacancy next to the police station as well? It's vacant for so long, but what's the future plan for that?
Thank you for that. And if I can say so, this is the block of land that goes from the police on Elizabeth Street, so from pretty much Westfield all the way down to Big Park. Yes. Yep. So we have been working on that from when I was mayor last time, from 2012. It was identified. So those who know the old the Thrifty site, and it was Peter Warren, I think it was in the middle, and Toyota, yep, and the last site was Dick Smith. So that land, we rezoned that land because we identified it as probably the most important block in Liverpool because it connects the hospital to Westfields. And there's the most amount of people working in the hospital, as you know, and in Westfield, so when there's nothing in between. So we identified it, cutting a long story short, 10, 11 years later, it's now broken up into three pieces. There's three different owners. The Dick Smith is approved for, there's supposed to be a big building, 300 units going there, and it's supposed to be affordable housing and social housing for key workers. Next door to that, and that's approved, next door to that is a hotel that's been approved in the middle, and the last one, which is the Thrifty one, what they were designing that to be a place for seniors living in a building there. So that's what they were going to do. Now, what's happened is I know the hotel is being held up because of Sydney Water. There are issues there when they go to dig, but also building has become so expensive that nobody is building in Liverpool anymore. If you look around, there's 0 cranes in Liverpool. All right. Now, I know some people don't like building. We need to build, and if we don't, there's going to be big problems. Like now, I'm very concerned that the rental market is going to get very expensive. Everything has gone up already, and we're all feeling the struggles of how things are going up. With no one building now in Liverpool, I'm very concerned that over the next 2-3 years, rents will keep on going up because people are going to move here, but there's no more units for them to live in, and it's going to be it is a bit concerning. So hopefully that answers your questions. In the meanwhile, we'd like to get them to do something with the land, but there's nothing really they can do. It's just that everything is it's too complicated. Yep. It would be good if they opened up as parking, but it's not. It's,
the children's walking everywhere, and then they lovely at that. And then for the mental health, the hospital, mental health, the things, we have so many people need a recreation running group, like the stepping on or something, the Liverpool Library run. The Liverpool Library is moving further, and then I don't know what's that block will be used for, and that will be very essential block for what I asked them. They said is community something will land or
Yeah.
what we're going to.
so a community organization is hopefully going to be leasing that building out. So we haven't signed the lease yet from last I heard, which was a week or so ago. So hopefully we have signed it. So a community group is going to be leasing out the old library.
Yeah.
If I can take you, I guess, to our vision of what we're working on.
Yeah.
Last time I was mayor, we redid the mall, Macquarie Street Mall. We redid that, and we did Big Park. We spent, I think, $11 million on the mall. We spent $10 million on the park, and you see the difference that's now in those areas. The mall still has challenges, but at night time, I don't know, has anyone gone to our events that we've had in the city centre over the last year? No. So this week we're going to have our Christmas tree lighting. Mind you, it's going to be 40 degrees on Saturday, so we might do it a little bit later. But people, we're getting around 20,000 people a night or 60,000 people over 3 days coming to those events, and it's about giving families something to do and giving people something to do, right?
Yes.
So we've done that. We've just opened up the new library on Sunday. If those who haven't been there yet, please go and have a look at it. There's an art gallery in there as well. We've never had an art gallery in Liverpool. Now we have one right in the middle of a city centre. The library, state-of-the-art, world-class, and it has a lot of activities for people to do in there, from seniors to kids. There's things in there that I guess we're trying to build that as the hub of the community. And we built it now. How do we make it even better?
Is that any chance to have the shuttle bus from Westfield to the library? Because a lot of people utilize the free parking. They come to do the knitting groups or something like that, but they're fragile age to walking that distance. It's not for the people like me or younger. It's not a problem, but for the ladies, I'm interacting with the knitting group. They're a bit of fragile age. If we can run in a shuttle bus like the airport or something in the regularly meeting 20 minutes apart or something, it will be stimulated the people to go to the library to read, relax, and enjoy to visit, like you said, open Sunday. I haven't been there yet, but my friends was there, said it's lovely, and then I have regularly.
Yeah, and if Miss Maybury, go and have a look at the beautiful trees there, the beautiful crepe myrtles. They're very, very nice trees. So we do. That's a good point. We do have a shuttle bus that is here in Liverpool, that is going around. So I think maybe we need to look at and advertise that better. So that's good feedback. We'll have a look at that. No, I'm being mindful about. And we do have 2 hours free parking at the library. All right. So yeah, there is free parking, and it's still as people moving in. And look, there's a lot of moving pieces in that whole project. So we're we need people to be patient with us, but we do have some free parking there to start off with. But we will look at that shuttle bus. I think that's a good point for people to be able to move around and look at the route on it. So yeah.
Hello there. My name is V. Quickly, this is, it's not my point. I will raise my points later on. But what she actually asked hasn't been answered. The initial point that she had raised was, if you look there at this thing here, she raised the stepping on program there. The question that she asked you guys was whether that program could be open to people from 60 years of age, because that senior program there is for 65 years and over. And before the meeting started, she shared to me that she's had multiple falls. And I think her questions were answered, but her initial question wasn't answered. And I understand because she made a lot of points. But I just didn't want, because that is one of the things that she's really interested in, is that stepping on program, because she's had multiple falls. She's over 60, but she's not yet 65. So she wants to know if that program could be opened up to people her age so that she has that support. I just didn't want you guys to miss out on that question, because it's relevant to her.
I normally work backwards, so I remember the most frequent ones. Yeah. Oh, you can answer it? Oh, lovely. Okay, there you go. There you go. You got it there, because thank you for that.
I'll just start, and thank you for that group, because it's just done an amazing transformation of our lives, and that's not overstating it. I'm not 65 yet, and I go and nobody's kicked me out, so I feel like just come along. You'll be welcome with open arms.
It's like trying to get to a nightclub when you're under 18. You just go in there and.
I'm pretty sure they have security measures now.
84 members. Our average age is 74 point something, which we love to point. And I can't tell you what a difference it's made in my life.
That's great.
My life was okay, but now, my God, my life is
Wow.
brilliant.
You'll-
We're going on cruises. We're here today.
So.
I come hang out with you, but I produce your
Oh, haven't told you what it is.
Yeah.
It's
What?
the Seniors Health and Wellbeing at Phillip Park, Lanier.
Oh, that program. Yes. Yes.
It is such a success.
A lot of people.
Thank you so much.
But so is that the stepping on one, or is it different?
No. Collective leisure.
Collective leisure. I'm not sure if it's in this. Yep. All right. So look, we'll if you can go, we'll grab your details. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay if you go. I don't think anyone's going to kick you out. I think you'll be okay.
We go Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We have gentle exercise on a Tuesday. We have art on a Thursday, and on a Friday. Oh, we might sometimes have cooking on a Thursday, or Tai Chi, or singing.
That's in Lernia, in the new Phillips Park Centre we opened up last year. Yeah, in Liverpool. Look, we were in Water Grove last week, and there was a lot of praise for that program, and people asked for it to come to see if we can get something in Water Grove. But we're very good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Would be very. It sounds like it probably could be expanded from what I'm. Yeah.
And we just wanted to see if we can get ongoing funding for that, because we know we've got first term. Thank you for that. We appreciate you approving that, whoever was involved in that. But yeah, it would help us all relax a bit if we knew that it's going to be ongoing.
Yeah. Can I ask whereabouts do you ladies live if you're going to Lernia?
Yeah, I live at Preston's.
Okay, yeah.
I live at Lanier.
Yep.
You live at Liverpool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's good for that, I guess, that sort of Lernia and surrounding suburbs, but Liverpool CBD is different. And I guess Water Grove is obviously that side of the world, so it's, yeah. Yeah. there's a lot that is going on in the library, but I couldn't tell you exactly that. But it seems like that program is a good success. So. Yeah.
Sorry. Can you address the ongoing funding? Is there any plans there?
Yes. Yeah. It's, yep. Yeah. So we're getting some funding from Department of Communities and Justice. We'll get the exact details, but I think there is we would be very enthusiastic. I don't know the costs, I couldn't tell you, but if it's, I think we'll find out we'll know exactly by the end of the meeting, but you've got our support.
Yeah.
We'll find the money.
Great.
Let us make it happen, and we'll do what we can.
Thank
All
you.
right?
We
So
really appreciate it.
you can rest at ease. We're going to do everything that we can to make it work.
And you're going to have a lot healthier old people running around here.
No, it's great. Liverpool it's a very young community, but it's also an aging community as well. I think it was 25% of our community is over the age of 65 or so. And I think our goal is everyone has to enjoy the community. Everyone, especially, and when you think about it, to be fair, you guys built the community. You put all the hard work and effort, and we're benefiting from it. So it's not, people should appreciate that. And we had our seniors concert last week. I don't know if anyone go. Yes, if anyone heard my speech, you were at the CI. See, look how popular it is. The seniors concert. Did anyone here go to it? No one? There's one. Michael was there. I was working actually. So the seniors concert has 1,200 people going to it over 2 days. So it's, yeah. Spoken to anyone.
I love to hear that. Thank you very, very much. When I first came to council in 2016, there was a lot of work being done for the youth, and I actually brought it up that we have to look after the aged people as well. And the results that you are seeing here is council's ambition to do exactly that. So it was wonderful to hear from you today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think, the programs are amazing, but the social connection that it gives people and the excuse to get out there and to connect with everybody. So thank you for creating that community out there as well.
I was just going to say there might be a potential to look at expanding the program into Liverpool through seniors. So I'd love to meet with you as obviously the local state member to see, how we can potentially get some resources and really look at the benefit that the program is delivering for seniors. And, I take Lily's point about social connections, particularly for older people, because most people within this area are much more likely to have downsized, for example, and be older, and therefore kind of be in the CBD. So you have lots of issues around, barriers to transport. So, if they're living in the CBD, they can't easily get out to Phillips Park and that sort of thing. So very happy to meet with you and see what we can do on that front as well. Well, when you're making impacts like, breaking down social isolation for people so that they have the first human contact in a week, that's pretty extraordinary. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Janet Smallman, and I'm really happy to be here tonight. And thank you to the Mayor and the councillors and everyone that's found time to come here tonight. Firstly, I want to be positive. I want to say the works that I see around Liverpool are wonderful. Is it called Ninjara, the new place? I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but it looks magnificent.
The library?
Yeah, I see it every...
Yalamundi.
Oh, Yalamundi.
And Ninjara is the university building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every morning I'm walking to the station Monday, Friday, I see it and I think it's amazing, it's beautiful. And Thursday evenings, Friday nights when I'm coming home from work, seeing the mall where the lights are lit up and you see people of different cultures and enjoying themselves, having fun with their family and friends, that's lovely too. And hearing these wonderful ladies' stories, that's fantastic. What I'm going to bring up might be not very popular, but it's something that's very dear to me, and it's been dear to me since I was a little girl. I'm a little confused. I hear so many different stories. Liverpool has a colony cat infestation. Some people love them, some people hate them, some people don't really care. I hear stories that people say they want to be killed. At the moment, there's an Australian thing happening. Deadline is December the 11th. It's 160 something pages, 116 pages, one to read. You kind of need a degree to read it. There's some wonderful organisations for these animals that, to be honest, they're domestic short-haired cats. I live in Liverpool and I've seen a girl come out of a unit and she had a pet Voyager with 2 cats in it, and the other girl up in the unit says, she goes, what do I do with them? She said, just get rid of them. And she dumped them on the street in Castlereagh Street. This young guy with a child, he rescued them, and myself and my flatmate, we took them I got them desexed, and then I took them to a beautiful pet shop. I won't mention any names. And they got wonderful homes in a great affluent area. Now, these cats are living a great life. Now, I understand there is a feral problem with cats. These cats have no human contact. They're just like wild boars, wild pigs, wild goat, you name it, wild brumbies. They haven't had the touch of a human. So they are eating the wildlife. And I understand there's a group that's really against the cats because they're eating a lot of wildlife. But us humans need to be responsible and think when we have a straw, we have rubbish. I see the streets in Liverpool littered badly. They dump the plastics on the street. It rains, it gets in the gutter, it goes into the ocean. Come on, guys, get our acts together too. So with these cats, my concern is, I understand feral cats are a problem, but there are a lot of ladies and some men that are colony feeding cats, and these cats are beautiful. I can pick them up. They love me. I look after them. I've spent my own money dissecting them. I feed them, but I'm worried that they're going to get killed because I used to have a lot of money. I've fallen on tough times because I had a business and the franchise went bust, so naturally I had to do it on my own. So I'm just worried that the cats that me and a lot of other ladies and men look after, that most of them have dissected them. I'm going to be honest, we've paid with it with our own hard-earned money. And if they're sick, I get pills from my vet to give them to get them better. None of my cats have had cat flu the last few years, but I'm worried that they're going to get killed because I'm poor and I don't have a home to take them to. And I'm really worried about that, guys, and that's why I'm bearing my heart to you tonight. And I've seen your article as well, and I'm worried by that. I love these cats. Not all are good, but a lot are, and a lot of women and men really love them and are looking after them. And the fact is, a lot of people are just dumping them on the street, undissexed. A lot of owners have pets and they're not dissexing them. Come on, guys, us humans, get our act together. We would not have this problem that we have now because it's man's problem as far as I'm concerned. Of course they're going to mate because it's a natural thing, like us humans, but we need to pull our socks up.
Yeah, look, thank you very, very much. I can feel your passion, and I was late getting to this meeting today because I was at the Companion Animal Committee meeting for Liverpool Council, and I just want to say, if you want to fill in a form, I think that you're a person that we need on that committee. Okay, so please fill in a form and we'll see what we can do about that. But yep, that you are absolutely right. This is an education program for the people, for human beings, that we're creating this problem. And the problem that we've got is that council cannot pick up cats. And that's our biggest issue. At the last Local Government Association General Conference, we put in a motion so that that we asked the governments to change the legislation to give council the power to be able to do that. There's two veins of thought from that. If we can pick them up, that we can pick de-sex and release, and that would eventually have a slowdown in the cat population, of course. And there is another vein of thought, and it differs from different council to council, that we should be enforcing confinement of cats as we do dogs. All of those are very, very good suggestions, and of course it's better for the animals as well, because cats on the streets don't have a very pleasant life and they have a very short life. But cats breed so rapidly, we cannot keep up with it. And the other fact that we've got is that it can't be isolated to one council, one LGA. It has to be all councils together that join together to actually have some sort of effect at taking some sort of control over the number of cats.
I've got statistics on this. I've de-sexed all my cats. There's two. I call them mine, but, you know, from one end, I'm not going to mention a street because I don't want people at me, but one end to right down to the next. I've had no babies for over 2 to 3 years. 3 years. Because I spend the money, I de-sex them. It does work, but not everyone does that.
No.
You know what I mean? And
No.
you can work it, but I agree, there's a problem, there's too many.
That's
but
right.
people need to pull their finger out. If they're going to feed them, get them de-sexed.
So
you know what I
there's-
mean?
There's two ways we're addressing it. One is through education, so that we're saying exactly what you're saying, that people have to be responsible for their animals and their pet ownership. The second thing that we are saying is that we need the legislations changed so that councils do have the right to pick up cats that are on the street. Even if we were to follow the de-sex and release, you've witnessed it yourself. It does work, but it has to be across all LGAs, otherwise it won't work. But we have the state member here, and let's hope that she's going to give us some money so that we can actually do that.
Well, excuse me, there was some money given a few years back, but it never got used. Yeah, there was an article in one of the papers. I can get that, yeah. There was money given and it wasn't used for where it was meant to be used.
We do de-sexing for pensioners,
Mm-hmm.
and we do that
Okay.
regularly. So we're trying to do our best, and
Yeah.
that's at our council's expense.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'll do you one better than the money, and I'm really glad you raised this issue because it came up in another community forum as well. And I've been talking about the importance and the viability of trap, neuter, release programs since about 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
And there was similarly another very passionate lady who said, you know, if council was interested in doing something like that, I'd volunteer to be part of something like that. And you seem like someone who is similarly passionate in that vein. Last week, myself and a couple of other members of parliament met with the local government minister on exactly this issue, and we discussed changing the legislation so that councils can have some enforcement powers to pick up cats and potentially desex, so that you have that, you have that component of the issue addressed as well. So I've heard that there is an interest in changing the legislation so that councils can do that, but I'll be able to update you when I get a formal response in the next few weeks. So more than happy to keep you updated.
Thank you. Very appreciated. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. We do have the, so if you see it on our Facebook, we advertised it on a week ago, on the 28th. So there is the free cat desexing, if that helps you in any way. There's just an email address there called LAS Programs at Liverpool. If you want to, happy to give it to you if you like. It's LAS Programs at liverpool.nsw.gov.au. You can book through them and or call customer service, but that's one way of doing it.
I just wanted to add, firstly,
Yes.
thank you so much for sharing your experience. Can you hear me now? I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your experience. I'm a passionate animal advocate, and I'm on the board of the Animal Welfare League, which is based in Kemps Creek. So they do offer discounted animal desexing for low-income earners, so that's one option for you. No problem. So that's one support, along with what Council's doing, to be able to help people in the LGA with abandoned animals, particularly dogs and cats, but they take a wide range of animals.
I'd like to revisit a couple of topics, if I may. One of which was, well, littering and rubbish in general. I'm going to commend the council for trying to clean up the city, but it just seems like somebody used the word pride before. I don't see that there's much pride in this city with people. I've lived here since 1967, so it might be fair to say I have witnessed quite a few changes. I live around the Orange Grove area, and I know wherever there's fast food outlets in this city, there's always rubbish. And I'm not blaming the council for that. I'm also going to commend you for the facility you've got. That recycling facility in Rose Street, I think, is brilliant. The people there, they're fantastic. You can't fault it. I'll just leave that one there. And I've seen those guys have to pick up rubbish that people just think it's going to magically disappear once they leave it on the verge. And I've seen those guys pick that up when it's turned into paper mache, and it'd be stuff you would not want to touch yourself. So to me, it seems like the people need to be educated with that. And I also know if I've rung up to report a rubbish problem and then you suggest, and they were really good with the response, I might add, they didn't ignore it. The folks came out within 2 days to pick up quite a few loads of rubbish. So kudos to the council for that. But then when I asked, well, where's the deterrent? Are you now going to put a flyer in the letterbox of the offender or something? They go, no, we can't do that unless we know who's put it out. And I think, so the people who live in those residences, they think, brilliant, this stuff just disappears on its own. Parking. There's
Washing, it just magically reappears and they're covered. Huh?
Well, and then if you don't own a cat, why is it the cats seem to know that, and then they take up residence in your place, which, you know, that annoys me. If it was a stray dog, council would pick it up, but if it's a cat, you have to hire a trap, and that's not cheap. Anyway, but parking as well, it seems these days, I suppose you've got more people living in the same residences. There was a letter drop around Medley Avenue, Orange Grove District about 2017, I think, written in English only, and it highlighted the fact not to park on double lines or nature strips. It didn't have any impact whatsoever. So I suggest, you know, people bang on about multicultural, blah, blah, blah. I come from another country as well. I'm a proud Aussie. That's another thing. There's not one Australian flag or Aboriginal flag that I've seen in this town. We need something to make people proud of this area. To me, a lot of people just feel entitled once they're here. Somebody's going to pick up their rubbish. Maybe that's what it's like where they've come from. I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But then as well, Orange Grove area, where wherever you see takeout areas, Krispy Kreme, McDonald's and that, the grassy knoll out the front of those places is always impeccable. The rest of the street is absolutely disgusting. And that's, Orange Grove Road is a gateway to this city. Eastern side of Orange Grove Road, or Cumberland Highway as it is now, you can't take one step without being confronted by fast food junk. That's not the council's fault, but I figure they might be able to liaise with those outlets, as I have. There's no deterrent there about littering, and there's no encouragement or instructions on how to use a bin. And I've covered the parking topic. I think you need to do another letterbox drop or send out the rangers, because that's even a 3-tonne area. I've seen B doubles going down there and people parking large trucks, semi-trailers in that area. So you've got to go across double lines, and it becomes a one-lane access now, one-car access. Apart from that, I know council's trying with the rubbish, and good on you for getting the mattress machine, because I was going to suggest to have the big mattress as our icon in the city. But I know you guys are trying. So, and council doesn't put it out there, you know. It's people just think it's going to disappear on its own.
So the one thing that we did with regards, you made a good point about that, about rubbish around fast food outlets. And I'm just trying to think exactly where it was, but as part of the conditions of consent, so someone, when they apply for their DA for a fast food outlet, we put in there that they are responsible for picking up rubbish within a certain radius. I'm trying to think of where we did it, what application it was. So we don't vote anymore on DA, so we don't have anything anymore on it, but I think as a standard policy, I don't know if we've got to have a look into it, whether we put that into if it's an ongoing thing, because when we used to vote on DAs last time, it would come to the floor of council, people would raise issues with us like you would, and then we were able to add that into, okay, approve subject to, and you put all the conditions in there.
I was walking down that street. Do I need that at all? And there was a big dumpster there, and there was a pile of cardboard boxes. I thought it was a teenager standing next to it. I thought maybe he dropped a few, and I said, "Hey, listen, you hold the lid up. I'll help you put the rest of these boxes away." I get abused for that. Then his sister comes out with the phone, obviously to take pictures, and she just started attacking me, and I said, "Hey, listen, rather than bang your gums, why don't you give us a hand?" And it just didn't mean anything to her, and I thought, well, that's ingrained into her. And once again, and I'm not being disrespectful, maybe that's the way some people have been used to living where they've come from. And you know, maybe we need something to remind them where they are. And what I did say to you before, I don't see one Australian or Aboriginal flag in Liverpool. Yeah. We've got to have some pride in this area to start, I think.
I'll get to the flag in a second. So it's a good point. Look, I think people ultimately, need respect, and it gets taught at home. And I don't think, no matter who you are, where you are, what you've come from, it's people need to have it, and it's everyone. It's not any particular group of people, and it just unfortunately happens. It's so annoying seeing the rubbish dumping. One thing that Richard and I, one of our bugbears was always Enterprise Circuit, if you know that one in Preston's. So it's that little bit of road that connects the industrial area in Lernia to off of Wonga Road. Tiniest little street. It's probably double the size of this room. And you kept on going there every week, and there's always be like, you want to see rubbish? Like that high rubbish along the whole length of it, costing council thousands of dollars every week to pick it up, because, to your point, people thought they can dump it there because it magically goes away, right? So we banged on, said, just put cameras there, do something. We even offered, we'll just buy the cameras and put them up there, a few $1,000s. It's ridiculous. Thankfully, we've now pretty much stopped from the big problem. Still a little bit that gets dumped there, but considering what it was, it's a big difference. And they've got these dumping spots around the area. Look, if you ask me what I would do, I'd put up a sign there saying, one, don't be a tosser. You remember that old campaign, right? if you need to get rid of rubbish, go to Rose Street, we'll take it off of you, don't go and take it there. And yeah, you're under surveillance, so it's a multiple things. It's about, have a bit of pride. Here's a solution, go to Rose Street. It's in their car, so they might as well just keep on driving down the road and take it there. So we've got to communicate that better and put the cameras on this. If you are going to do it, if you don't listen to our 2 warnings, then you're going to get what they call it. You're going to be dealt with. That's on the bit. So it does. I don't know. I can't say there's anything that they've moved. I can't think of anywhere they've moved to. Do you reckon? No, I think we've done all right with them.
From littering or encouragement to dispose of your rubbish, you see it from the car park onwards. They just chuck it out the car like they're insulting their car by leaving it in there. That kind of attitude.
And that's why we know that around fast food outlets, there's always more littering because just the nature of.
But once again, there's no deterrent in those restaurants or encouragement to use a bin.
What would you consider when you say deterrent? What would you consider a deterrent?
Well, you're talking signs, so maybe a picture. I remember there was really gross ones of people swimming and then they'd have a cigarette butt in there, a shock factor. Because that's the truth of what they're doing. But a lot of people, they're blind to it, it seems, because maybe they're accepting of it.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think there's definitely merit in us doing a bit of more focus on having a bit more pride in the community. Don't be a dumper, don't be a tosser.
Pride is the key word.
Please have some more pride on there.
We live in the best country on earth, for God's sake.
100%.
We're blessed here.
What we need to be mindful of is that we need to have pride ourselves as council, because we're not perfect. We've gone on a process of trying to make council better. If you remember when we started, COVID had just gone berserk, where everybody got COVID, and then it had gone loose, and then we had 3 floods in 6 months. We've now focused on, we fixed the budget financially, where we were able to now put more people on the front line, more people. Liverpool has grown, Austral has grown dramatically, all these different areas, but they never put on any extra staff. So we're now putting on more frontline staff. So we need to do our job better before we can really push the community. But I think it definitely is improving, and there's a lot of good things that I won't bore you with the detail, but the council is doing to make sure we do better things. On the issue of the flag, I did have a goal last time I was mayor, where I wanted to put the biggest Australian flag up in the country, but never got around to that one. We don't have any flags now. We used to have flagpoles in front of Westfields in the mall, if you remember those ones. There were some, because I remember when George Pucciolio passed away, God rest his soul, we put the flags half-mast. So the only other area that I've seen that we do have flags is in front of the Regional Museum and Hume Highway. But I think there's merit in revisiting that.
It's a beautiful convenience.
Look, you go through.
And if the rubbish just gets picked up by somebody calling and council picks it up quick, they just think, wow, that's magic. I'll put some more out, or they'll tell their friends to do the same.
And let's go to Speed Street. There's always mattresses there, always. And we've always said, what can we do about that? And unfortunately, what happens is because people are very transient. They move in, they move out. They move in, they move out. And
well, that's your new problem with all the towers that go up, because how do you know where it comes from? It's just left out on the street from a 300-unit complex.
Oh, they usually just put it right in front. They don't carry them far, so they don't go far. And it's like, how do you educate people when they're moving in and they're moving out, and that makes it tough for us.
Sorry, good point. I think, I know in Medley Avenue there's a lot of rental properties, a lot of tenants. Maybe you should liaise with the people who lease those properties.
So we did have, I don't know if they still do, we did have last time I was mayor, where we were working with the managing agents of the properties, and so we can at least communicate with them. But I think it gets down to, we need to communicate better, right? Does anyone here get the newsletter that we do? Oh, that's good. Oh, the fold-out one, yeah. So we're supposed to do that every quarter. Does anyone else? Yeah. So we're doing, because now with no more local paper, and the importance of the Liverpool, the leader and the champion, now that they're gone, it's... Well, that's 100%. You're spot on there. Hey. No, no, not at all. I mean, yeah, so I think that how we communicate with everybody, you know, because it's one thing having social media, but not everyone has social media. So how do we get things out there and no, who does that?
We do, yeah. Keep Australia Beautiful. We just won the Georges River Keeper just won an award in that category. So, you know, they're definitely still out there for the waterways. So, the Keep Australia Beautiful must be out there. We can have a look and see what we can get from that to help with this sort of stuff as well.
Hi. Hello.
I think just in terms of the rubbish, if we work together as a community, you'll probably find that we're able to reach a lot more people. So if you see somebody dumping something, just approach them and say, you know what, don't put it there. Take it to Rose Street.
They'd probably hit you.
They'll probably, sorry?
Hit you or people are very
Yeah?
abusive, yes.
Okay. I've lived in the area for 33 years. I've never encountered that, but that's okay.
You don't live in Warwick Farm. That's all I need to make a point, because you wouldn't say anything to anyone that lived in Warwick Farm that dumped rubbish.
Which area, which part of Warwick Farm?
Lawrence Hargrove Road, where the shops are.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's such a safety issue. It's concerning. The elderly won't even go out their front door at 2, 3 in the morning, midnight. People are working. I've grown up in the area. My dad was a police officer at Waverley Police Station, drove there for 20 years because he loved the area. And you know what? There's a lot of people, good people moving out because of the safety issues. The elderly next door neighbour has had her garage broken into how many times? She won't even call the police because she's scared. So it's just, honestly, I love the area. I love what everyone, you guys are trying to achieve, but there's parts of Liverpool and Warwick Farm that's just neglected. Like the Golden Pond, those Hines, the flats, I don't know if you know them, they're down there, and all it is ex-criminals. It's actually quite scary, to be quite truthful. And there is some really good educated people, or people that just working class people that want to get out of there because of that, and it's sad. There is people that have lived there for 50 years and over, and it's really concerning. And you don't, like, you're in the police, and I feel sorry for them because they're back and forth. You hear them all the time. You know, look, I think everything else everyone's spoken about is really great, but this is people's safety, and it's concerning when an elderly person that's contributed to Australia all their lives can't even walk out her front door. So sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional because it is sad. My mum was like part of this community. I'm part of the Greek community, our church close by. We do feeds 3 times a week. We try and do what we do. But it is concerning for people's safety. Even like we're at sometimes the church grounds, you sit there and you think, oh gosh, they're going to walk. Look, it does get a bit concerning. So, you know, I just think like a bit more safety. And like I said, I think it's fantastic. Like I see these things happen at the mall. We attend, our family, we get people to come and they love it and they think it's fantastic what Liverpool Council is doing. But like, you know, how many times can you ring the police? You know, they're busy. You don't want to bother them. But, you know, you just want to have a good night's sleep and you've got people just walking up and down the street arguing or fighting or throwing things, found knives in our neighbour's yard. Like things, like ridiculous things that it's just, to me, you know, it shouldn't be like this. We should live in a beautiful country like this. I was born here. My parents came out in the 40s. They worked so hard to contribute to this beautiful society, and it's just really concerning when good people are wanting to move out of the area.
So were you here in the beginning of the meeting, or did you just walk?
No, I didn't. Sorry, I came late. I had to work. I came late after work.
You know, that's so. Just on the issue of because we've heard a fair bit about Warwick Farm not here, but we've been working on it, which I'll go to in a moment. When you say you call the police, so as I was explaining to people before, yeah. But do you call the station or do you call the police assistance number? Yeah. Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? There's one here for more.
Better than what I've spoken, just to say, hey, you know, and it is sad because there is so many things around Liverpool that are fantastic, but you know, sometimes you feel, oh, we're being neglected, or this area's being looked after, and this one hasn't. I'm not just saying Warwick Farm, there's other parts of Liverpool, there's other parts of this area too. But yeah, it's just sad. I just think it's really sad.
So look, there's short. Sorry, do you want to add on to the?
And in the 33 years, I live in Warwick Farm on close to the Liverpool, this area. In this area, I found it's fantastic. It's from train station. I feel confident walking from 8 for 9 o'clock at night or a little bit late, but I don't walk out after that. And in the morning, I get up to go to work in Liverpool Hospital. That is fantastic. The area, yes, I have seen something like the rubbish being put out, but regularly being picked up by the council trucks or things like that. It has happened. And when I just recently moved, before I moved, I rang the Liverpool City Council. I said, I have this and that, and then they said, put it before we give you the time, and you moved out before 24 hours the night before, and they come to pick up. They do come pick up, and then the rubbish, it is also regularly, but it's regularly being picked up. That's just to say the positive for Warwick Farm, for this area we're living.
Pardon? Oh, other precinct. So on the issue, if you look at, so the Warwick Farm side, the Lawrence Hargrave side that you talked about, the challenges there are probably, it's like, what can be done in the short term, what can be done in the medium, what can be done in the long term. And we have to try to look at all three of those things. You can't neglect one for the other. I guess the biggest challenge that Warwick Farm has is this, there's a lot of people who get out of jail and they're placed into that area. Miller also has a similar challenge around the shops. So from a medium, long term, we've had numerous meetings with the Department of Housing and saying, look, just because someone's in a housing commission house doesn't mean it has to be an old rundown building, right? We're seeing buildings redeveloped. We're trying to convince them to fix up the properties, build new properties, and change the area and create. And what they're doing now is they're creating diversity in housing. So it's not just like, if you look at Miller's shop, I can tell you about Miller, the ring of units all around it are all Department of Justice people living there, right? And any concentration of one group of people, no matter who it is going to be challenging. And if you're not putting in the services there, it's going to create problems. You say, here you go, you're out of jail, you're living there, and then they're forgotten about, and they're there with a whole bunch of people who've just lost. It's not the right environment, because what society needs to do is help rehabilitate people. Also protect the people who live there, to your point. So we're saying to them, redevelop it. They just had, just on the corner, just one house down, one building down on the corner of Big Street and Hume Highway. There's a new building that finished last year, I think it was. That's been an award-winning building, and that's Department of Housing. And it's a mix, and it's a beautiful building, won architectural awards. It's much better. They reckon that's the model they're going for. So we're trying to work with them and saying, what can we do to help you as council to make sure that this happens? And I think it's important that we become more vocal about it. I think in the short term, and the community in Warwick Farm, and I'm happy to work with you in having another meeting in Warwick Farm and promoting it specifically on this issue, because for us, safety is obviously our priority. Yes, it's a policing matter, but we need to at least help the community get organized to make sure they're being protected. So the thing, what I mentioned before, why I asked you whether you're here or not, is What police want is they don't want you to call the station. They want you to call the police assistance number. So if you were able to get all of your neighbors and everyone just to call the police, call that number and talk about an issue and report the issues and get your numbers, what that will do is it will give the local area commander to get more resources for that area, and they'll have to deal with it straight away. They can't just forget about it. So, well, they shouldn't be. This is Australia. As I said, we're in the best country in the world. It's anonymous. It's a phone call, and maybe if we work with them, we can help them because we need to do something. And maybe we can take it offline and have a discussion. I'm happy to meet you out there and say, well, what can we do in that short term to make a difference? Knowing that the long term is working with Department of Housing, but then what can we do in the short term to make it better? And happy to look at ideas. And I think sometimes we have to think outside the square. We've got to come up with a way. I want to make this point back a bit to your point as well about pride from before and areas. So last time I was mayor, we planted a whole bunch of flowers and planter boxes around the area. Now, I'm like, man, who cares about flowers? I wasn't much of a flower person, right? I'm like, who cares? I go, let's build the park, let's build the mall. And we had this really good advisor around us, Professor Ed Blakely. And he's like, it's about creating pride in the community. He goes, you watch. I said, okay, if you reckon, go for it. So we started putting these flower boxes. And then it got to Miller, and they'll say, some staff were saying, don't put it in Miller, they're going to be vandalized. All right, guess what happened? We put it in Miller, the community started looking after them. They took ownership of it. And one day, finally, someone did take out the flowers and chuck them out there. The community picked them back up and replanted them. So it was a good example of having some pride and how no one should be talked down. You know, I mean, that it is good. So, and I learned flowers are very important. They're good things and people like them. So that was a learning lesson for me. So it was good.
I would like something from another point of view. Nothing is perfect, first of all. We are here. We are people. We are power. We are power. Power, yes, power. For example, Australia saves $40 billion in volunteer work. My daughter was winner of New South Wales as volunteer of 2018. So I know importance of this activity. Our council, regardless, I believe personally you're doing best because that's such town with no so big money, no big budget. So a lot of things are up to us. If, say, some simple example, if fence of our neighbor is broken, we go to him trying to help him. If he is sick, we will go and fix that in another way. If he is violent, we should say and address in that way. So we shouldn't be so passive. Okay, maybe a lot of us are active doing a lot of things, but we should be more self-critic, if I can say so. That's more self-critic. Say we are not objective or we are in some way wrong. So we should see who we are. Are we really in right? Maybe we are wrong. So we should think from that way of view. And I talk that from my experience in another way because I came from Europe. See, I was president of Federation and Inventors. And people saying we didn't do that. It's up to you. Think. Go around. Try to help yourself and another ones. And think, and you will be inventive or in whatever, more positive attack. That's how I see things. And in that way, we should maybe solve a lot of things. No expecting just cancel things. We should be more active with the council. Thank you.
There's no hands up. Yep.
Hi everyone, my name is V. I'm really, really grateful to be here tonight. I keep looking around because I don't see many people my age here. So when I first walked in, I wasn't sure if I was in the right forum because the hall is for seniors, and looking around, the majority of the audience are seniors, no offense. So I've just been listening and observing, but I came here with a few things that I wanted to say. I knew about this event on Facebook. You mentioned there that pamphlets were being distributed in the mail. I don't get any communication in the mail from Liverpool City Council, only from Karishma's office. I've got several points, and please forgive me if I go back and forth. I'm a bit nervous as well. One of the things that I really, I had a meeting with Karishma in her office 2 weeks ago to talk about some of the community engagements that I'm involved in. And okay, I've lost my point now on that topic. Oh, yes. One of the things I asked her when I found out that she's also a councillor as well as a state MP for Liverpool is how does one become a councillor? What got you guys into these roles? As a Pacific Islander and as a proud resident of Liverpool, I don't see a representation of my community, and hoping that one day I will sit there and help the Liverpool community, but also as a representative of my Pacific Islander community. So perhaps if any of you have time after this meeting, can share with me how you got into that role? Okay. I would like to say how proud I am to be living in this area because of the facilities that we have. The Liverpool Library. Forgive me if I get emotional, and I hope that I'm not captured in the live. I'll get there. Very, very proud to be living in Liverpool. I live on Macquarie Street, and I don't have a car, so I walk everywhere. I work as a lollipop lady. I started 9 weeks ago for one of the local schools, and I chose that for multiple reasons. And one of them was because of it's a community-based role, and I wanted to have a wider reach to my community. My best friends live in the Fairfield councils, and I'm always bragging to them about how great Liverpool is, and they're sick of me sending them photos. Every time I walk from Westfields back home, I always take photos of the lights in Macquarie Mall. Every festival that we've had in the past 2 years at Macquarie Mall, I've been there. And I'm telling you, they're sick of me sending them videos of how great we have it in Liverpool. Last year, when I attended the Winter Blast Festival, I fed back to one of the Liverpool City Council staff that was present my suggestion for Liverpool Council to please host a festival, a summer festival for its residents from the South Pacific islands such as Samoa, Tonga, Fiji. I'm Samoan myself. And I was very, very pleased when Liverpool City Council announced on Facebook this year that they were going to have one, which we had 2 weeks ago. And of course, I was there on all those 3 nights. And of course, my best friends were sick of me sending them videos of how great Liverpool, the community is. The Liverpool Library. Now, I'm in my early 40s. This year has been really hard for me financially. In my 20s and my 30s, I had a good job working in insurance in the city. And after 10 plus years of working and got tired of travel, catching the bus and the train 3 hours each day, I wanted to just work around Liverpool. So I got out of insurance about 4 years ago. It was going okay. Of course, when you work outside of the city, the pay is not the same. But this year has been really hard due to personal reasons and other things. And finances for me is really, really tight. In my desperation and in my getting sick of counting cents, being on Centrelink job seeker allowance, I started to research for resources we have available around the area for people like myself to get some food and financial assistance. And I was really, really happy that we have organizations around Liverpool. One of the ladies here mentioned that her church does 3 nights, 3 days or so. So I ventured out to find help for myself, but I ended up becoming a volunteer, and I'm a volunteer for 3 organizations currently. And that is because when I saw my brothers and sisters that come into these community kitchens, I realized that they're in worse situations than I am. Now, some people here have mentioned about community connections, and I think it's important that we have this connection for seniors, but I think at any age, we need to have those connections. And I am thankful that through the community kitchens and these organizations that have selflessly donated their time and money, that there is an outlet for people. Because when I attend the festivals that we have here at Macquarie Mall, I don't see these people that come to the community kitchens that I go to. Here in this hall, I don't see these people, but we have these people who are homeless and disadvantaged around the area. This was a thought-provoking, a thought that was provoked by what I heard, but it wasn't something that I wanted to mention. It's not a question, but I mentioned as perhaps something that the council could look into, or what can the council do, especially with Christmas coming up, to uplift the spirits of the brothers and sisters that you don't see at shopping centers, that you don't see at main events. When you talk about social connections and things like that. And that was the thing that I had a meeting with Karishma about. Now, something personal to me, as I mentioned, with my finances situation at the moment, I'm currently living in temporary accommodation. I just had my housing approval granted, but I got to wait 10 plus years for that. I work, like I mentioned, as a lollipop lady for one of the schools. It's a 10 hours max a week, less than $250 a week. So it's not much to live on. One of the great things that I discovered about 2 months ago is the University of Wollongong. And I had no idea that we have a Liverpool campus here until I attended one of the information nights. Inspired by what I saw there, I decided to apply to study. I thought that to increase my employability and to be able to crack into the Liverpool City Council as an employee in the future, hopefully, because every time I see advertisements for the roles, I never qualify for it. So I thought, okay, what can I do to give back to the community? And I thought tertiary education would be something that would get me out of the situation that I'm in. Now, unfortunately, I got accepted. But unfortunately, and this is the thing that I'm really sad about, is that when I went through the scholarships at the Liverpool campus for the University of Wollongong, it listed there that Club Liverpool and the Liverpool City Councils have both withdrawn their support to offer scholarships for their local residents for 2024. When I walked in to the official opening ceremony of the library on Sunday, Ned, you were just talking about how great it is that we have two universities in the Liverpool. And that is great. and I think it's fantastic. I also saw one of your lives on Facebook on that day, and you mentioned the same thing. But how sad it is for a resident that could be benefiting from a scholarship that's now been withdrawn. So it's good that we're proud to have a campus, but what are you doing to help your residents, especially people in financial hardships who want to better their situation, and in the future, hopefully, bring back to the community that investment through that scholarship. So I was very sad with Club Liverpool that they withdrawn, but I was more sad about Liverpool City Council's withdrawal.
Thank you very much, V, for sharing that with us and being so open with her. I think everyone reckon, give her a round of applause. I think, thank you. We love your honesty and for having the courage to speak up. And I said, to answer your question, what are we doing for people who are doing it tough? Everything that we are doing is for people who are doing it tough. Because we've all gone through in our lives at some point or another. When we look at why do people come live in Liverpool, we have residents who have been here for a very long time, right? We have residents who live in our city centre because this is a great place to live, but it's also an affordable place to live, right? And it should be more than just having somewhere to sleep. Yes, that's important, but it's about what's there to do here. So, for example, when we redid the mall, you know how much I was criticized and how much I was attacked for redoing that mall? They go, what for? Now, you know who paid for it? The business owners, the people who own commercial property, they paid for that. But I was attacked constantly and say, no, we don't need to do that. The money had to be spent on that sort of stuff anyway. But I was attacked. Who's in the mall every day? Our community, right? People aren't necessarily working, but they're going out there, and that's where they socialize with people. Yeah, are there some bad people in the mall? There are, but at the same time, I've sat down with them. A lot of people want to do the right thing. They want to get out of the cycle, right? Majority of people are just there, want somewhere to socialize, getting out of a unit and having friendships. And we did it. I was criticized. I was criticized for redoing Big Park. Well, we had a park. Why did it have to be redone for? I said, man, this is our community living here. They deserve the best facilities, and that's what we do. We want to give our community who lives here the best stuff, not having to go out there and travel. When you go to university, you shouldn't have to go out there to travel. We're bringing it here local to make it accessible to people, because a lot of people couldn't get to Milpara campus, drive to WSU and catch buses and do all this sort of stuff, or drive to bloody, where is it, is it Kingsford? Or the other, Kingswood, or going out there, right? On the issue of the scholars, this is the first time that I've heard that they're not being done, and so this is news to us. So we'll look into it, because it wasn't that long ago that I presented the scholarships. Yeah, so I'll look into that and see what's going on and understand why it shouldn't be the case from our point of view. I think it was $35,000 a year or something. So I'll look into that and see what it is. But getting to universities here was because it makes it accessible, it makes it local. Building a community, having a new library, it's the best facilities, right? Getting stuff here where you should be able to walk and go and enjoy, and you should be able to live a good life in Liverpool without having to spend money. To take kids to Vivid, I took my kids to Vivid, right? I had to go drive them to the city, pay the tolls, pay for the fuel, pay for the parking, and by the time I got there, they were annoyed because they wanted to go home. They've been in the car for so long, and it's like, well, why don't we have things like Vivid out here in Liverpool City Centre, right? So our goal is to give our community the best possible, but we get criticized for it. Oh, why? It's only Liverpool, right? When we're dealing with people from, I'm not going to pick on architects, but let's say, I'll pick on architects. Oh, it's only Liverpool, right? No, it's not only Liverpool, right? It is Liverpool, and everyone is here, and we should enjoy it. The events in the mall, once again, we built it. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you. There's no parking officers now, don't worry. All the events once again, we get criticized for. We built the mall. The mall was finished in 2016, around 1 month after I finished my term as mayor. Those events you see in there, they should have been happening since 2016, but people refused to do them. We got elected. Now, yesterday was 2 years from the anniversary of the election. We officially took over on the 21st of December. So that will be the 2 years as me being the mayor. We as a team, yes, you see me a lot. I'm the one who's out there, right? But I do nothing without these people who are here. We work as a team. And the vision of getting the mall back active at nighttime. The staff, we have some really good staff in the organization. We have staff who aren't with us, but we have a new great team of staff that are here. The first event that we had, if you remember the Blessed Nights one that we had, where we celebrated Easter, Orthodox Easter, Ramadan, and Passover, that event there, the staff are like, well, we've never done any big events in the mall. We said to them, tell us where to put the food, the carts, we'll bring the people. Because we lived and breathed Liverpool for the last 30 years. I've been here, I moved here from America 30 years ago in September. I've lived in Chippy Norton, I lived in Medley Avenue, I'm in Middleton Grange, Preston, so I've seen a fair bit of this area, right? But 30 years been involved in it. And we know that people here want something to do and somewhere to go. So we proved that event would work. Thankfully, you guys all did for coming up to it. And that's what we did this year, Experience the World. So we had the South American one, we had the Pacifica one, we had the Africana one. This year, our Christmas event last year was probably the best Christmas event that we had as well. Our South Asian one. So we're celebrating everybody, and that's what it should be. Eventually, that mall should be there every weekend. There should be something going on at nighttime for people to do all the time. So once again, it's about how do we build this community, make sure that everyone benefits from it. All right? There's a saying that when the tide goes up, it should lift everybody's boat. That's what we're trying to do. You should be able to go to a good job right here in Liverpool City Centre, right? That's what you should have. It shouldn't be just about, I have to go and travel to the city. When I wasn't the mayor, I had that same dilemma. I'm like, what am I going to do now for work, right? I didn't want to travel, and it's an hour, 15 minutes by the time you get to the station, go to work, go do that. I didn't want to do that. I'd rather make less money and live locally, right? And took a pay cut. I didn't want to go and do that. But we should have those good jobs here. It shouldn't be just reserved for people living in the city. When you live in the city, look what people get. They got the harbor bridge. They got the harbor to enjoy. They got all the beaches, all locally, all the great walking tracks, all this sort of stuff. So, I'm glad that you like the feedback with Fairfield and Liverpool. I love that. I always stir up Frank Carboni, the mayor there. We always have a chat. But one thing that we were able to get done, and once again, a pothole, everyone sees a pothole and they said, go and fix it, Ned. Well, we have 900 staff. I call up Terry straight away and Terry gets his team out there. What we're trying to do, what we've been successful and you haven't seen yet, is we secured $170 million from the previous state government back in January this year. Now that is for parks, for swimming pools, for the area. We have never had anything like that, ever, ever, ever. $10 million in the park, $11 million at the mall, right? So now we've been able to secure that. Light Horse Park is going to be one of the most amazing parks in all of Sydney, not just Liverpool. And once again, it's only Liverpool. No. Give us the best park. So this is going to be like Darling Harbour. If you've seen what's down there, it's going to be like that. We got the state government. We ended up getting $30 million from the state government for that. It cost us nothing because we had to bid. We had to prepare ourselves to bid for these things, right? We got that money. We got $50 million for a brand new pool at Carnes Hill, right? Massive growing community there. There's nothing out there. The Whitlam Centre needs to be upgraded, but we can't have all of Liverpool going to the Whitlam Centre. It's not going to work. So we got $50 million there. Brickmakers Creek, $40 million we were able to get from them. We threw in heaps of projects, and in total we got $170 million. In the city centre, $25 million to make this place look better. So you will see it looking much, much better. That's all money that we secured. Our teams here are gearing up for that. Keith has been with Liverpool Council, will be 30 years in February? April, 30 years, right? And now he's the one who's building all this stuff. He's building our first synthetic soccer fields. Fairfield has synthetic soccer fields for the kids. Last year, they had nowhere to play with all the rain, right? They go, why does Fairfield have it? Why doesn't Liverpool have it? And what is it? It's only Liverpool. No. Keith's now building our first synthetic field down in Moorbay. So that $170 million that's coming, it's going to be amazing, right? How can we put it? I mentioned to you before that the senior staff live who are from Liverpool. So now it's a matter of they're all passionate as well. The passion that we have, they have that as well. Michelle wants to make this area better. She lives it, she breathes it, her kids grow up here. We want to make it better for everybody. So that's what we're trying to do. And if I can answer your question briefly about how to get involved in council, happy to share with you the whole story. I'll give you a little bit of my story. Caress, I'm sure, we're happy to tell you a bit about it as well, about getting involved. Caress actually works very closely with the South Pacific community. So you know the Matavai dancers that we're having. So Caress was instrumental in making sure they got a home at Preston's in the new center we built there. That building we built, by the way, I don't know if anyone has seen if everyone has seen the new center at not Preston's, at Lernia, sorry, at Lernia. You know, that's money we secured from the government as part of the airport. But briefly about me, I moved here from America 30 years ago. My father was born in Sierra Leone, and my mother was born in Lebanon. Now I'm a proud Aussie, and what happened is probably came here, got into a bit of, went from being a straight A student in the US, came here, got into a bit of trouble. Just when we announced the Olympics, that's when we got here. And but I always want to make a difference. I'm born on the same day as Martin Luther King Jr. So that's always been something important to me about who is this guy and look at the impact that he's had in the world. And that's been part of what's in my blood, right? It's what drives me. And I joined the youth council at the age of 17. So it was the first time we ever had a youth council. I saw an ad in the paper one day and I said, let's go for it, you know what I mean? And yeah, I got involved in the youth council. I left school at year 10, never went to university or anything like that. And yeah, hustled. Yeah, you got to hustle, right? So and then at the age of, when was I, 20, in 2004, 2005, I decided to run for Parliament when Mark Latham resigned from Parliament. Thought I'll have a go, why not? Knew nothing, ran as an independent, had no idea. And then, yeah, but anyway, great core flutes, great photos. My slogan was, I tell it as it is, right? And yeah, in 2007, I ran for state parliament. So I tried federal, that didn't work. Tried state, that didn't work. 2008, I got elected to the council, but that was more, and in 2012, got elected to the council, but you know, as mayor. And yeah, you know, but it was more about a desire to make the community better, and then like get guided to the path, man. The path opens up. Like you've come here today and you said, who knows what you just said is going to lead to in the future. But yeah, but we're happy to share with you. There's a way, if you want to do it, there's a way to do it. No, there's no silver spoon that's gone out there and helped any of us in reality. None of us, right?
Something. I think one of the most important qualities of a councillor is somebody who's involved in their community, who fights for their community all the time, and you are clearly a person like that. So please have a chat to any of us. You know, that's what got me here after a long time, you know, advocating in my own community around Moorebank, and then, you know, not everybody's prepared to stand up and say the words, but lots of people will support you if you're the person who will stand up. So please don't lose that passion, because it's very important that we have people who are passionate representing the community.
Fiona was fighting against a concrete crushing plant that was going to be built next to the area in Moorebank, and she started an action group with all of her residents and all of her community members. And then that's how we met through that. And then one day she goes, look, like you just said now, I would like to go out there and represent. I wouldn't mind going and she says, yeah, well, here you go. We gave her all the knowledge and she worked hard. But, you know, she asked the question and she did it. She made it happen. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, sure.
And Nazan used to work in insurance, so she can now works for council, so maybe she can.
Yes, sure. And quickly, I'm very much aware of the time, and thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you for your answer, Ned. My last point is the library. Now, the library, I'm on the, as I mentioned, I'm in temporary accommodation at the moment. The lease runs out in February, so in 3 months' time, I really don't know where I'll be, because I'm on the 10+ year waiting list with housing. And I can't afford, as a single person, accommodation on my own in the Liverpool CBD, which I would love to find a place because I love this area. Now, the library then becomes a second home to people like myself. And the new library is fantastic. I only manage on Sunday to go to 2 floors, so there's a lot of exploration I'll do there in the coming days. But I'm very, very thankful that we have this facility. You know, even for days like these where it's so hot and you don't have aircon at home, you go there or you go to Westfields. Now, with the old library, my point is in terms of the library, with the old library that I also used to go to every day, when it was approaching its closure, I spoke to several staff members there in regards to the furniture that we had there, because there were the tables and the chairs, because there were information that they were being chucked out somewhere. Some people said that they were being donated to schools, donated to other libraries, and that they were definitely not going to go to Yellamundi because Yellamundi had its own new furniture. Now, this is one of the things that I brought up to Karishma in the meeting I had with her 2 weeks ago, is that I approached the library through their messenger on Facebook, asking whether the members of the community, and speaking about myself, and someone in financial hardship, whether those tables and chairs could be donated or be sold at a reduced rate to members of the community. Now, I went back and forth with the library for over a month, and then finally on the last day before it closed, I managed to spoke to the lady who's the manager there. I can't remember her name, Eloise or Lisa or something like that. And she suggested to me that I reach out to Liverpool City Council directly because you guys made the decisions. Now, it's been 2.5 weeks now since I emailed Liverpool City Council. I sent photos of the chairs and the tables that I was interested in, and I haven't received any acknowledgement to that. Now, it's okay if members of the community cannot have it, but not having any acknowledgement of the email. It's been 2.5 weeks. And again, someone like myself in financial hardship, having that assistance from the community for its community would be really helpful when I hopefully find a place in the next 3 months or so, that I already have a few chairs and a table, so I don't have to spend money on that. I wonder if anyone knows of that. Okay, thank you.
Help you out with some other ideas as well, because there's a lot of people out there that are helping. Look, everyone, I'm just very mindful of time, and the staff have been working all day since 8 in the morning. Look, I just want to thank you all very much for coming out. That's been a good discussion, some really good points. We've got our notes. Everyone's been taking notes on this stuff. All we'd like to do is reconvene again in the new year, probably April, May, as we're going along, because we want these things to be regularly. We don't want this just to be one-off. It's more about how can we communicate quickly, easily, regularly. And I guess we need you to give us a to-do list, and we need to work on that to-do list. And that's what we do, because ultimately it's your community. We're part of the community. We're sitting here today. In 9 months' time, whatever it is, we're probably sitting on the other side. You never know what happens. So there is no distinction between us and them. We just need to make sure that we're hearing what's going on and we're fixing all the issues as much as we can. So we will, in any specific particular issue, please, Sabine, just bring it up with customer service. I know everyone's been filling in the forms. Michael, so thank you for filling those out. But we'll definitely look into those issues that are here, and we'll deal with them. But if that's all, everyone wants anything else. But look, once again, thank you all very much for being here. I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. And please, we have our Christmas event this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which will be a very nice event. And our New Year's Eve event this year is going to be in Warwick Farm at the race course. So please come along. There'll be fireworks, maybe little pony rides, but it'll hopefully be a very good community event for those who have come along and enjoy the New Year's Eve with everyone. But everyone, once again, thank you very much for being here, and we'll all look forward to seeing you next time.